Hi, everybody. Welcome to the University Scholars Admitted Students Day virtual presentation. Thank you for joining us today. I have a presentation that I'm going to be going over, and then I want to leave some time at the end for questions. So if you could just hold your questions until the end of the presentation, that would be great. Some of them may be covered through the presentation that we're going to go over. My name is Jeremy Marchese. I'm the director of the University Scholars Program here at Stony Brook University. We also have two representatives from the Office of Admissions who are joining us today who can answer some general questions that you may have about Stony Brook in general. So let's jump in and get started. The University Scholars Program is one of the three honors programs that we have here at Stony Brook. We're the largest of the three. We admit approximately 250 freshmen every academic year. And the goal of this program is to create a community of students dedicated to learning through giving back to the campus community. So one of the primary focuses of the University Scholars Program is experiential learning and leadership on campus. So our students tend to be some of the most involved student leaders on Stony Brook's campus, and we're really proud of that fact. The Scholars team itself consists of myself as director, Dr. Brian Cully, who is our faculty director, and Dr. Nancy Puckner, who is our program coordinator. The scholars in our program represent the top 8% academically of incoming freshmen based on their GPA, SAT scores, and co-curricular involvement during their time in high school. Admission to the program is by invitation only, so congratulations to everybody for being admitted to the program. Students would have indicated on their application that they had an interest in joining one of the honors programs and then submitted supplemental information as needed. The average SAT of the fall 2019 cohort was 1,440. The average GPA was 96. These numbers are almost identical to the Honors College at Stony Brook. We are also a four-year program, so we do have requirements for freshmen from their freshman year all the way through till graduation. So you'll be with us for the entirety of your time at Stony Brook University. All members of University Scholars are also part of what's called an undergraduate college. So you'll be receiving some information about that from the undergraduate colleges a little bit later. There are 6 undergraduate colleges and they are theme-based. So when you're filling out your new student's preference form, you're going to want to pay attention to the themes of each of the colleges, and then you're going to rank them based on your interest in those themes. Your membership in the undergraduate colleges also has to do with your residential placement. So if you're going to be living on campus, your undergraduate college is going to host the residential quad that you live in. All freshmen are going to be taking Scholars 101 during their fall semester with us, and a Scholars 102 class during their spring semester of their freshman year. The 101 is basically your introduction to Stony Brook. We go over a lot of the resources that are available to students here at the university to try and make sure that you get off to a good start and know of all the resources that are available to you to take advantage of as students to ensure your academic success. We also have specialized training classes for what we call our Scholars Fellows. That's a program that students can apply to in the first semester of their freshman year if they want to be teaching assistants for the Scholars 101 classes the following fall. We accept about 19 students into the Fellows program every year. And then in the spring semester of your freshman year, you will go through a semester-long training course that will train you on being a positive role model, learning about the resources available at the university. We'll be going over advising material and really just how to be a good mentor to freshmen who are coming into the university the year after you. You do get personalized academic advising throughout your time at Stony Brook as part of the University Scholars Program. So myself, Dr. Cully, and Dr. Puckner would all be your advisors for all 4 years that you're here at the university. A lot of people don't really recognize the benefit of that right away, but it makes a big difference when students can come in and see the same advisor time after time instead of having to repeat their story over and over to potentially a different advisor every time they go for advising information or help. So it does make a big difference to be able to have a core group of advisors that you can go to whenever you need assistance with your academics, your course planning, or if there's anything else that you're going through that you would like to talk to us about. Students in the University Scholars Program also receive priority class registration within their class year. So that means if your number of credits still has you as a freshman, you'll enroll on the freshman priority day. So you'll be enrolling before other students who are not in one of the honors programs who do not have priority registration. We do have students who come in with a number of AP or transfer credits, so they could potentially be U2, which is sophomore standing already. And if that's the case, then again, you would register during the sophomore priority date for course enrollment. You do get a notation on your official transcript for each semester that you were with the University Scholars Program. And you also have opportunities to plan and participate in a lot of special events and programs that we host through the University Scholars Program here. The Scholars Program is really an added layer of support for you. Stony Brook University can be rather large, and this is our way at reducing the psychological size of the university so that students feel like they're in a smaller group and have people that they can go to who are identified to them early on. So you also have residence hall directors if you'll be living on campus. They're also part of the undergraduate college team. You have RAs within the residence hall buildings. So first year residential students are required to live in the scholars designated building within their residential quad. This is important to note because you can only request a specific roommate if that person is also in the University Scholars Program in the same quad that you're placed into. And this is done to really enhance the community experience of the University Scholars, and it gives us the opportunity to better manage the students instead of having them spread out through all the residence halls across the university. So it's a really great benefit. The students who have participated in this have absolutely loved it. This was actually a student-driven initiative. The students wanted to be able to live together. So several years ago, this was approved and they were able to start doing that, and it's been a great system ever since. As I mentioned before, you'll also have a Scholars Fellow. So when all of you are registering for a Scholars 101 class for the fall semester, there will be a fellow or two assigned to each of those 101 sections. Now, these students have been in your position exactly a year ago, so they know exactly what you're going through. They know any of the anxieties you may be facing, any confusion that you may be facing at starting at a new institution, and they're really there to help you transition successfully to life as a freshman at Stony Brook and also in the University Scholars Program. We also have a program called our PAL program, that stands for Peer Assistant Leaders. These are upperclassmen who we assign to a very small group of students. There's going to be no more than 5 freshmen who are assigned to a peer assistant leader, and they're all either pursuing the same academic major or have the same ultimate career goal. And they will be in touch with you prior to your first day on campus here, so you'll already have a connection to the university before you actually set foot here in the fall. And more of this information is obviously going to be available to you during orientation. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of it. We do have requirements, since this is an honors program, we do have requirements in order to maintain your standing in the University Scholars Program. The first is that you have to pass your Scholars 101 and 102 classes. Now, these are not difficult classes, so passing this really should not be an issue or a struggle for anyone. These are courses that are really designed to help you transition to the university, so we really don't anticipate any issues with that. You do have to maintain a cumulative grade point average of at least a 3.0, not be found responsible of academic dishonesty. If you are found responsible, that results in permanent removal from the University Scholars Program, and you're not eligible to rejoin us. Freshmen also have to attend 2 4-credit scholars events each semester of their freshman year. And then after your freshman year, as upperclassmen, you would need to go to 1 4-credit event each semester. There are no exceptions to this unless you are either studying abroad or participating in Semester by the Sea, in which case you wouldn't be on campus and able to participate in the events anyway. We do host anywhere between 15 and 18 events each semester, so there is ample opportunity for students to satisfy this requirement, and a lot of different options in terms of the events that we host. And I'll go over that a little bit later in the presentation. Students must also complete the EXP Plus category in the Stony Brook curriculum. The Stony Brook curriculum is our general education curriculum, and there are different categories that are required through the Stony Brook curriculum. One of the options is EXP Plus, which is experiential learning. And since our program is very involved with experiential learning, and it's one of the things that we pride ourselves on, that category has to be one of the ones that students satisfy in order to remain in this program. And then at the end of your first year, we send out a questionnaire to all freshmen just asking about their involvement outside of the classroom so that we can see the types of things that you're getting involved in during your time here at Stony Brook. In terms of the events that we host, as I mentioned, there are usually between 15 and 18 each semester. Some of the annual ones that we host, we do an end of year banquet every May toward the end of the spring semester, where we recognize some of our graduating seniors with our Senior Scholar of the Year Award. We also recognize those students who are active in our newsletter and all of our student committees, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes. If you haven't taken a look at our newsletter on our website, I really encourage you to do so. It's a really great web newsletter. The students put a lot of effort into it. It's very professionally done. So all of the back issues can be found on the University Scholars website, and there'll be information on the website address at the end of the presentation. In the past, we've also hosted book drives. Every year we host a medical school panel where we have graduates from the University Scholars Program who are currently in medical school come back and talk to the students about the application process, what medical school is actually like, the types of things that they're doing there. And it's a great way for current students to hear from some of our alumni about their transition to medical school and the ways in which Stony Brook and the University Scholars Program helped them get there. In addition, we have research panels. We have a lot of students in this program who are involved in research, either through Eureka, which is the undergraduate research and creative activities program, or directly doing research within one of the academic departments at the university. In the fall semester, we host a Beyond the Classroom involvement panel, where some of our most involved students who are taking part in a wide variety of co-curricular opportunities throughout the university come and speak to students in our program about the importance of getting involved on campus and the types of transferable skills they're learning through those involvement opportunities. We host faculty panels where we have some of the most popular faculty at Stony Brook come and speak to the students, not only about their academic areas of interest, but also about their college experience as well. At the end of every fall semester, we host a charity toy drive where students donate toys to families in need. We collect anywhere between 800 and 1,000 toys every year at this event, so it's a really successful event. Part of our outreach committee initiative is our camp cleanup. So every spring semester in April, we will go to a camp on Long Island. It's a camp for children with disabilities, and we go and we help them clean up the grounds, paint the buildings, get everything ready for the time that their camp opens. It's a really fun opportunity. The students have a great time doing that. And then we've done other things like brain games nights, a senior prom, a night on Brookway, where we had student performers from the university come and perform Broadway songs for our students. There are a number of ways to get involved with leadership through the University Scholars Program itself. We have 3 student committees, which are our academic committee, our outreach committee, and our social committee. And these are completely student run and student driven. The students on these committees conceptualize ideas for events and programs that we host throughout the year. And then they work with the scholars team to help put those ideas into action and actually host the events. Our newsletter, as I mentioned before, is called The Torch. So we have writers, photographers, we have students who do interviews of not only faculty, but current students in the University Scholars Program. And then we also have a Scholars Council, which is responsible for some of the large initiatives that we are looking to put on through the University Scholars Program. Students will have an opportunity through their Scholars 101 class to become a representative on the Scholars Council. The council is open to everybody, but if you are elected a representative, you'll actually go back to your Scholars 101 class the following week after Scholars Council and relay the information to the other students in your class so that they're aware of what's going on in the Scholars Program. As I mentioned, this is a 4-year program, so we do have upperclassmen who remain actively engaged in Scholars through our events, community service opportunities, leadership opportunities. We have some internships directly through the Scholars Program. The PAL program, as I mentioned before, students who participate in the PAL program as upperclassmen as mentors will receive EXP plus credit. So that's the Stony Brook curriculum required category for us. So that's a great way for students to be able to satisfy that requirement through the University Scholars Program by giving back to first-year students. They also serve on student panels and are a source of connection for research and internship opportunities, a connection to different faculty and staff throughout the university, preparation for pre-med, pre-law, pre-health, and they also assist with resume review. And we do all of these things as well as the scholars team. So you can always come to us for resume review or to discuss any of the pre-med, pre-law, or pre-health requirements. As your advisors, we will assist you with those as well. Our website can be accessed here. It's just stonybrook.edu/uscholars. This has all of the contact information for myself, Dr. Cully, and Dr. Puckner. So if you do have questions that we're not able to get to during today's presentation, please feel free to email us with those questions, especially if they're very specific in terms of types of credits you're coming in with or anything like that, where it would be a little bit more appropriate to speak one-on-one regarding something like that. Do keep in mind that we are right in the middle of enrollment for the fall semester, so I may not be able to get back to you immediately, but you can always expect a response from me within 48 hours of sending an email, even during this time. Again, congratulations on your acceptance to the Scholars Program. We really do hope that we'll see you over the summer for orientation and then in the fall. And now I'd like to open it up to questions, if we can. So there's a question about AP credits. Yes, the maximum number of AP credits that we will accept is 30 credits. If you do have more AP credits than that, the university will sort of pick which ones will help you best based on your intended area of study. In terms of what those APs will count for, it sort of depends on your score, and it depends on the category that your AP was in. So sometimes there is a direct course equivalency to it where you'll receive course credit for it and or credit for an SBC category as well. There's a question about percentage of pre-med students that were in University Scholars that got accepted to medical school. The acceptance rate is extremely high. I've actually, in the 11 years that I've been here, I've only heard of one student that did not get into a medical school for their application. The questions are coming in very quickly now. Yes, so graduating early is a possibility depending upon the number of credits that you come in with, either through AP credits or transfer credits that you've taken either through your high school at another college or college level courses that you've taken that you have credits for. The minimum number of credits required to graduate is 120. So like I mentioned, 30 credits of those can be from APs. You're allowed to transfer in up to 84 transfer credits. That includes test scores. So if you have 30 AP credits, you can have up to 54 course transfer credits coming in. And depending upon those course equivalencies, if they can be applied directly to courses for your major, there is the opportunity to graduate early if you can still complete the rest of the requirements, not only for your major, but also for the Stony Brook curriculum as well. The biggest advantage about being in the University Scholars Program compared to the Honors Program is that we're not curricular based. So there's a lot of flexibility in our program where students are not required, other than the 101 and 102 class, to take other courses directly for our Honors Program. So they can take all of the courses that are required for their majors, any course that's required for an SBC category, without having to add additional courses onto the time that they're here. Plus, it is very community driven. So the students in this program really help each other. They want to see each other succeed. One of the things that they're working on for the incoming class next year is having tutoring groups available for some of the high demand courses that first semester freshmen will take. So it's really a great community opportunity for students to take part in. It's really, you know, I know it's cliche to say, but it's very much like a family. There's a question about whether the school will be ready to receive incoming students on campus in the fall. Obviously, this is something that we can't predict. As of right now, we're moving forward with the anticipation that classes will be held on campus in the fall. We won't know that for certain, as this situation changes pretty much day to day. But we will, of course, notify you if we know anything. In terms of housing, so as long as you are placed in the same undergraduate college as somebody that you want to room with who is also in the University Scholars Program, you two can request each other, and then campus residences will try and assign you both to the same room. So there's no need to reapply to the Scholars Program every year. You're actually in it as long as you maintain the requirements to remain in this program. If your GPA does drop below the 3.0, you'll be removed for the subsequent semester. And then once your GPA gets back up to our minimum requirement, you can email us and request to be reinstated. Now, you can only lose your scholars designation twice before you are permanently removed from the program. One exception to the 3.0 requirement is that we do give freshmen a little bit of a grace period with this. So freshmen who end their first semester with GPAs between a 2 and a 2.99, we will give them the spring semester as a probationary period to get their GPA back up over the 3.0 without removing them for the spring semester. Because we do know that this is a transition, can be a little bit of a jarring transition to the university, and sometimes students do have a little bit of difficulty with that. A lot of times it's the high achieving students that have the most difficulty with this because they're used to not really having to study for tests or exams. And that's really not going to be the case when you come here. You are going to have to study for your exams, probably more than you're used to doing before. But again, these are things that we help you with, especially through the 101, through the Fellows Program, and through the PAL program. Research opportunities for university scholars. So none of the honors programs have direct research through their programs, but we work very closely with the Eureka program, which is the undergraduate research and creative activities program here at the university that helps pair students with research mentors. Some students also do find research opportunities individually through academic departments. Some have found them through research panels that we've hosted. Others have through their Scholars 102 course. They'll connect with their 102 instructor and decide that they would want to perform research or help them with a research program that they're currently involved in. There's a question about how to have your AP scores sent to the university. Those have to be sent directly through College Board. Official scores have to be sent directly through College Board in order for us to have them. And we can only base our recommendations off of official scores. So make sure that you do have them sent through College Board. There's a question about the rate of scholars finding jobs and opportunities after college as opposed to students not in an honors program. I really wouldn't have information on students who aren't in an honors program and what that rate looks like. But the rate of students who are either going directly into a graduate or professional program or directly into the job market is in the 90th percentile. Yes, the cost of tuition is the same for students who are in the Scholars Program as opposed to students who are not. The exception to that might be in terms of a financial aid package or a scholarship that the students are receiving. There's no direct scholarship for students in the University Scholars Program, but a lot of our students do receive either the presidential or provostial scholarship upon entry to the university. Process to change to a nursing major is something that you would really tell us at orientation, and we would make course recommendations based on what your intended major is. While I'm on that subject, there are some majors that you cannot just decide to switch to on your own if you are not automatically admitted to the university under that major. All of the majors within the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, if you were not directly admitted into those programs on your application as a freshman, you have to apply to those programs after completing some of the prerequisite coursework in order to get in. So just know that ahead of time coming in. Some of the other programs like the College of Business also requires an application. So if you were not a direct admit as a business major, you would need to apply to that program as well. There are options for students to double major or to do interdisciplinary study. A lot of our students double major and have, a minor or two. We also have something at the university called multidisciplinary studies. So if there are a bunch of different majors that you're considering, or an area where we don't have a direct major, you can sort of craft your own major through the multidisciplinary studies program. And it's really combining a bunch of different areas into a track of courses that you would follow. There are advisors specifically for multidisciplinary studies, and they would work with you with that. So some of the ways that you can satisfy the EXP Plus credit, study abroad is a great way to do that. Students do that. Students have participated as tutors through the Academic Success and Tutoring Center here at the university. You can be a teaching assistant for a course that you've taken. You can be a fellow, or you can be a peer assistant leader. Those are definitely some of the best ways to satisfy the EXP Plus requirement. There's a question about university scholars securing a co-op. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but I think that that would probably be a question for campus residences. You apply to the University Scholars Program upon your application to the university itself. So all of you would have indicated that you had an interest in one of the honors programs. And then if there was still room based on that, we would go to the general pool of students and select those students who met our GPA and SAT requirement. So the scholars-specific internships that we offer directly through our program, it's not a science internship or a business internship. It's working directly with the program administratively to help us host events, track student attendance, come up with different programs to host for the students. The number of credits that an AP test is worth varies based on your score. If you go to the undergraduate bulletin, under policies and procedures, you'll see a section for advanced placement tests, and that will give you all of the information on which APs satisfy which requirements and the number of credits that they're worth. Advising appointments through university scholars are done in a couple of ways. We do have walk-in hours several days a week where we will be available where students do not need an appointment. They can just pop into the office to see us. If there are other students waiting to see us, they may have to wait a bit, but the wait is usually not very long. Otherwise, a student can just email us directly and we'll set up a time for an advising appointment to meet with them. In terms of demographics for the freshman class and relating to university scholars, as I mentioned before, it comprises approximately 250 students in the incoming class, and usually the top 8% academically of students who are admitted to the university. In terms of living on campus and whether you can live with a non-university scholar student, the only way that you would be able to do that is if you were both in the same undergraduate college and both assigned to the same building, and that would be on a space available only basis. Otherwise, you would need to specifically request a university scholar student. We have a question about the earliest students can get involved in research on campus. That really depends. We've had freshmen that have been involved in research. A lot depends on the ability to identify a research mentor and what is currently available in an academic term. We don't want students to get frustrated because sometimes it can take a while to find these opportunities. So students have to be a little bit persistent in making sure that they're seeking them out. but I have yet to hear of a student who was not able to find a research position. The residence halls are going to be in one of two ways. They're either going to be suite style or corridor style, depending upon which residential quad you get assigned to. So you would definitely be able to ask campus residences which dorms have suite style and which have corridor style. So yes, as I mentioned before, every student still has to pick an undergraduate college. Your undergraduate college is what's going to determine your housing on campus, and your residence hall within your undergraduate college will be the scholars designated building in each of those quads. So there's 6 buildings across the 6 quads, and one is the scholars designated building. There is a question about whether university scholar students can double major between 2 different schools. I'm assuming you mean like the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences and the College of Arts and Sciences. Yes, we have had students do that. No, the tuition is the same. The tuition is a flat rate based on full-time standing of between 12 and 19 credits. If you go to our website under current students and click on housing, you can see the different buildings that are the scholars designated buildings in each of the residential quads that we have there. AP credits can be sent in at any time. Obviously, the earlier we receive them, the better in terms of making course recommendations for your major. Taking a Scholars 101 and 102 replaces taking a UGC 101 and 102. So the course material is very similar, but students in the University Scholars Program would take Scholars 101 and 102 as opposed to a UGC 101 and 102. In terms of how we compare to the Honors College, academically, our numbers are pretty much the same in terms of SAT and GPA. We are larger. The Honors College admits approximately 100 students each year, and as I mentioned before, we take approximately 250. The Honors College does have a curriculum that students need to follow, so there are additional courses that they would need to take through the Honors College, where aside from the Scholars 101 and 102, we don't have that. Yes, for your new student preferences, there will be questions about if you have a specific person that you want to room with. Again, you need to make sure that they are in the University Scholars Program and in the same residential quad that you are. There's a question about scholars receiving single dorm rooms. Just about every single student on campus is in a triple at the start of their term here. And then what happens is as rooms become more available and students start de-tripling, students are given the option of moving from a triple to a double, or someone moving to a different room if space becomes available. I will say that a large portion of the students who are offered the opportunity to de-triple turn it down because they end up really liking the other 2 people that they're living with, but nobody really gets a single room at all. When you fill out your new student preference form that will be sent to you after the deposit deadline, that's when you will be ranking the undergraduate colleges in terms of your order of preference. And then once you're placed into an undergraduate college, you'll know which residential quad you'll be living in, and then you can see the scholars designated building within that quad on our website. There's a question about applying to the pre-med program, pre-law program, et cetera. You don't really have to apply to those. There is no pre-med or pre-law major at Stony Brook. We do have the pre-med track and pre-health track, as well as a pre-law track. So you can technically major in absolutely anything that you want and still take all of the required courses that are prerequisites for entry into medical school. And again, we will work with you. So basically all you have to do is let your advisors know that you want to be on the pre-med track, and we will make course recommendations for you to make sure that you're meeting those. The university does accept IB credits. They're a little bit different from AP credits. So students usually work with the Academic and Transfer Advising Services Office, as well as the registrar's office, to determine how the IB credits will transfer over. There's a question about getting involved with shadowing doctors and other clinical experience for pre-med students. There isn't anything that we have directly that relates to that. It's just a requirement that students who are on the pre-med track do try and get opportunities like that by the time they're applying to medical schools. But there isn't something directly within the Scholars Program that has that. So it's okay if you're an undeclared major. What you will probably be doing is working with the advisors to talk about some different areas that you might be interested in studying, and then planning your schedule based around that. Normally what we'll say is if there are a couple of different areas that you're interested in and just haven't made up your mind which major you would like to actually declare, to take a couple of the intro courses in each of the majors that you're considering, and then get a better feel for what the material is like. That's where the Stony Brook curriculum can really help out with something like that, because you can take a class that satisfies a category for the Stony Brook curriculum that's also an introductory course for a major that you might be interested in pursuing. So you'll be getting the experience for a major that interests you and also satisfying a category for the general education requirements as well. There's a question about how majoring in multidisciplinary studies will affect entrance into graduate school. That would really depend on the graduate school that you're looking at and the type of MTD, multidisciplinary courses that you're taking. So I can't really answer that question. Do you need to do anything prior to the first semester for university scholars? So you'll be receiving a lot of information and paperwork from student orientation and family programming. There's going to be a lot of forms that you're going to have to fill out in Solar with regard to that. So there are help forms. As I mentioned, the new student preference form, it's extremely important that you fill that out as quickly as possible to try and ensure that you get one of your top choices for your undergraduate college. They go based on when you submit that material. So the earlier you get it in, the higher your chance of having one of your top choices. There's a question about whether TA positions are paid and are people trained for them. So that depends on the position itself. Some of the TA positions you can take for credit. So you'd receive upper division credit as a teaching assistant. And the number of credits would vary based on the hours that you're actually working. In terms of training, again, that depends on which type of TA opportunity you're taking advantage of. Most of the time, there is required training for all TA opportunities, yes. There's a question about combined programs and how they work, so an undergraduate plus a graduate degree. There are a couple of opportunities for that where students will be doing their bachelor's and then their master's degree in 5 years. How that works is it's obviously going to involve taking more credits per semester than you would typically take. And then in your senior year, you'd be taking both undergraduate courses and graduate courses so that you're starting your graduate work a year early. And then in your next year, once you're taking the graduate courses, you'll be able to finish your degree in that final year. So the Scholars Program internship that we offer is open to any of our students, even if they're CAS majors. Again, though, this internship is not science specific or business specific. It's really administrative in terms of helping the program out. There's a question about the CBSE curriculum that had their exams canceled, and they want to know if their admission will be affected by this. I'm going to let somebody from the admissions office talk about that. I don't really know if the AP exams for this year, since they were shortened, I don't know how that's going to impact the number of credits that they're worth. We haven't received information on that yet. I think we're all still waiting for that. Are your roommates all university scholars? So that would depend on the building that you get placed into and what the mathematics, how the mathematics works out in terms of setting people up. So there are times where in a triple, there may be 2 university scholars and 1 student who is not in the university scholars program. That has happened before. Again, students have not had an issue with that. There's a good question about students participating in multiple study abroad programs without hindering their graduation. So this can be tricky, and it's something that students should really be thoughtful about when they're thinking about studying abroad. There are some programs where it just really doesn't work out in terms of the course sequences that students have to take. So a lot of the engineering majors, students who are majoring in a lot of the science courses like biochemistry, chemistry, or even students who are on the pre-med track, sometimes have a difficult time doing a study abroad opportunity during the fall or the spring, because a lot of the courses that are required for those majors are sequential. So the first course will be offered in the fall, the second in the sequence will be followed in the spring. So if you miss the fall, you're not going to be able to take that class for the fall until the following fall semester. So it could delay your graduation. It's something that really needs to be worked out in advance. As I mentioned before, there isn't a specific scholarship that's linked directly with the university scholars. It's merit-based in terms of your application to the university. But a lot of our students do end up qualifying for the presidential or provostial scholarship. If you were not offered a scholarship and would like information on that, you should reach out to the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships to discuss that with them and see what other scholarship opportunities might be available to you. Good question. Does it matter if you choose an undergraduate college that is not in your intended major? It absolutely does not matter. You can be in any major that you want in any undergraduate college. So I really encourage you to pick your undergraduate college based on your interest in the theme, because a lot of the programming that will go on in the residence halls will be specific to the theme of the undergraduate college. So it will give you an opportunity to attend events that are based around that theme. But any major can be in any undergraduate college. If you get placed into your second or third choice, do not think in any way that that's going to impact your courses or your study here. It won't have any impact on that at all. There is gender inclusive housing in some of the buildings. You would need to check with campus residences to work that out though. There are some scholarships for study abroad opportunities. You can go through the study abroad office and they have lists of opportunities for scholarships and funds that may be available to help students out. Again, there's nothing specific to university scholars though in terms of scholarships directly for study abroad. Switching your major before you come to campus in the fall. So again, as I mentioned before, as long as you're not trying to switch into a major in the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, College of Business, or Music or Art, it's a simple form that you would fill out online to change your major to something else. But as I mentioned before, if you were not directly admitted to the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences under a specific major, or the College of Business under a business management major, you have to wait and satisfy prerequisite courses before you can apply to join those majors. So as I mentioned before, almost every student will be in a triple. So there will be 3 people in a room as opposed to 2. And then as space becomes available, people will start moving out of the triples and they will turn into doubles where possible. Do scholars have priority when choosing classes? So yes, based on the credit standing that you have at the time of registration. So if you come in with a lot of credits and have U2 or sophomore standing, or even U3 junior standing, you will register on the priority date for that class year. So seniors register first, then juniors, then sophomores, then freshmen. Scholars have priority, so they will always register on the priority day for their class year. So they are registering before any of the students in their year who do not have priority. I do not know if tuition is going to be affected by the current COVID situation. I don't have information on that. Students have to declare a major before they have 57 credits on their transcript. You will usually get a notification if you're undeclared and are around the 45 credit mark. You'll get sort of a nudge from the registrar's office reminding you that you have to declare a major before you hit 57 credits. So yes, the question is there a University Scholars Lounge? I'm actually very happy to report this, that we will be moving to a new building in the Student Union in the fall semester where the scholars will have their own lounge. So we are very happy about that. We've been waiting for it for quite a long time. So we're very excited that that will happen. I believe May 1st still is the deposit deadline. Admissions can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure, yes. There's a question about switching between university scholars and honors. Rarely a student has applied to join the Honors College from university scholars. The students who are in our program generally want to stay. They have a good time with it. How likely you are to get into your first choice undergraduate college, again, depends on how quickly you submit your new student preference form. So the quicker you get that in, the higher the likelihood. But again, as I mentioned before, getting into your second or third choice is not going to have any impact on your classes or anything like that. So don't worry that you're not going to be able to pursue your major if you're not able to get into the UGC that you listed first. Can you attend other events in the other undergraduate colleges? So yes, you can, but the only events that will give you, that will satisfy the event requirement for university scholars are the specific university scholars events that we host each semester. These will be listed on our website, and you have to go to 2 4-credit events each semester during your first year, and then 1 4-credit event each semester as an upperclassman. Are university scholars more likely to get a position in service learning than students who are not in the program? It does carry weight being a university scholar. So I would say that, you know, it's definitely a foot up on the application process for that. There's a question about whether scholars have priority when it comes to choosing housing after freshman year. The housing selection is based on number of credits, so it goes strictly by credit standing. There isn't a specific priority for students in this program. There's a question about whether the Scholars Program will help with progression from undergraduate to PA school. So yes, we have a lot of students who have done that. We are here to help you throughout your entire time that you're here, not just during your freshman year, but all the way through graduation. So any of the application processes that you're going through, you can always work with us, and we're more than happy to help you with those. And help to make sure that you're satisfying the necessary prerequisites for the different professional programs that you're looking for. There's a question about the Scholars 102 seminars and whether they vary based on the undergraduate college theme. So no, these are separate from the undergraduate colleges. So your 102s are specifically through the University Scholars Program, and they're offered on a variety of different topics. So we have things on becoming a successful leader. We've had 102s on severe weather. We've also had them on current events, theme parks. There's a really wide array of topics through the Scholars 102s, but they are not attached to an undergraduate college, so they are not connected with those themes. So Scholars for Medicine is slightly different from the University Scholars Program. It's a much smaller acceptance rate. I believe, again, if you're placed in the same undergraduate college as a university scholar and would like to room with that person, that you could request each other, yes. Yes, the Scholars 101 and 102 classes replace the UGC 101 and 102s. You are not going to be taking a UGC 101 or 102. You'll be taking a Scholars 1. Yes, we do help with students who are interested in attending medical school. We go over all of the pre-med requirements with them and all of the requirements for admission to medical school. We also do have a pre-health advising office on campus. So you can also work with them to help them gather your letters of recommendation. They can also assist with the committee letter that will be sent to the schools that you're applying to. In terms of rooming with another student with the same major, again, that depends on room availability and whether those two students select each other and are both in the University Scholars Program in the same undergraduate college. So we are just about out of time. Again, please feel free to take a look at our website. There's a lot of information on there. All of our contact information is on there as well. Please feel free to reach out to us. Just keep in mind, as I mentioned at the beginning, that this is the enrollment period going on right now, so it may take me a little bit longer to get back to you than usual. So please be patient. But thank you so much for attending. I really hope to see you guys in the fall and over the summer. Good luck with everything that's going on. Good luck in your last